Hello and welcome to another sound review. It's been a while, so let's get to it, yeah? Truth be told, I had a very long and elaborate write-up for the beloved P5 OST, but for this particular soundtrack, less is more. Persona 5, the latest entry in the revered JRPG franchise, was released September 16th, 2016 and April 4th, 2017 to worldwide audiences, and boy oh boy did this entry hit with a bang. It was met with extremely positive reviews all around, and rightfully so. The end product, just from a visual standpoint, speaks volumes, but the fact that the entry managed to do so many things right in the gameplay department, along with other refinements, only further cemented the entry's place as one of the best in the entire franchise. The sales figures don't hurt matters either. So with that bit done, let's get to the heart of this here review, the music of Persona 5. Now, out of hype, I nabbed me a physical copy of the OST, and the first thing I noticed about the music is that there's a lot of it, 3 discs and nearly 4 hours to be exact. And speaking of music, this was also an aspect of the game that was extremely praised as well, and understandably so. This is by far the most polished sounding Persona soundtrack to be released. I'm not about to play sound engineer and get technical, but everything is clean, it's crisp, and it's pretty clear. Vocal tracks also make a return, with newcomer Lin in place of Yumi Kawamura and Shihoko Hirata, and the absence of hip-hop means no Lotus Juice replacement. Love it or hate it. So while you won't be burning your dread or reaching for the truth, I'm sure our listeners are going to find something to their liking in that regard. One in particular that won most over and shall be named later. Suffice to say, the various themes and jingles are present in a game of this nature, with most, if not all, fitting appropriately with the atmosphere and aesthetic P5 conveys, with an overall chill/jazzy vibe not really emphasized to this degree on previous Persona soundtracks. Keep in mind, Persona, not Digital Devil Saga or something. So, with all of this said, one would assume that I'm gonna just slap the masterpiece rating on this bad boy, but for reasons I will now attempt to explain, I can't. I can't stress enough that objectively speaking, the Persona 5 soundtrack does a lot of things correctly. And why no rating? Well, we're not in that section of the video just yet. But seriously, my grievance with this OST is more personal as opposed to a compositional or technical one, so bear with me here. This OST is far removed from previous entries and makes it immediately clear from the get-go. But I think that in doing this, a certain charm was lost. Well, this only applies to those who are familiar with the P3 and P4 OSTs, at least. I had an entire tirade prepped, talking about how many of the songs on this OST sound boring, generic, have the mostly jazz-influenced style, while totally serviceable, wasn't really explored and fleshed out by the various composers here. But then after watching the game in action and hearing the music play in its element, I came to realize that my own bias and nostalgia was really keeping me from enjoying things here. Sounds familiar? And while I could nitpick, it wouldn't be very fair and would defeat the purpose of this review. That said, the more subdued nature of the music threw me for a loop, as I honestly assumed they would have further elaborated on the more mixed styles of the P3 and P4 OSTs instead of going in the direction they did. A few of the stronger entries on this OST for me were Phantom, Last Surprise, Wake Up, Get Out There, Layer Cake. And a ton of tracks off of this too, like the days when Mother was there. The weaker stuff on this soundtrack was pretty much everything else. Just kidding. There weren't any tracks that weren't being called out per se, but the signature style established by McGurrow and Co. is all but gone here, or very diminished. So fans of that sound from previous entries may find something lacking. The P5 OST, while polarizing for me personally, remains a hit in mass, and for good reason. The tunes ultimately fit perfectly within the world and themes of the game, despite the lack of certain elements and genres found in previous entries.